Welcome back to Outdoor Plus Radio with Seth and Jason, presented by Bucks and Bulls Archery in Stevens Point. It's the newest outdoor radio show to hit Wisconsin.
Well, to end this week's show, I'm joined here by Mike Mancl of the Breaking Point TV, who also happens to be right here from central Wisconsin, Stevens Point. How you doing this morning, Mike?
Good. How you doing, Seth?
I'm doing good. I'm glad you took the end of your day here to join us this early in the morning as you just pulled a 8-10 hour shift or whatever.
Yeah.
A little tired this morning, but
yeah,
that's usually we're all usually pretty tired here at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
So don't feel bad. But today, me and you will give them a little bit of a bow fishing report here.
Okay.
I spent a little time out on the Wisconsin River where I knew you started your bow fishing, and you guys took a nice little trip down to Castle Rock this past week. So. We'll get into that in a little bit, but one thing I noticed around here, at least on the Wisconsin River, is they're starting to roll in the weeds and kind of try laying their eggs and stuff like that. And we took a trip out by Club 10 on that part of the Wisconsin River here, a little north of town, and I think we got 12 carp, which ain't bad because they're coming up and surfacing, but we had a problem getting close to them. I don't know, you guys were hunting at night in Castle Rock, but...
Yeah, and a lot of the fish that we were running into at night we get pretty close to them just because they were holding tight in the weeds and not as spooky, I guess. And that's generally nighttime fishing is like that unless you're shooting them spawning during the day.
I think the lights must help a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe reflection or something. It just seems like it's harder for them to see you or whatever. But yeah, we got a couple, and actually before we get into your Castle Rock trip, Johnny Lane, you know him. He got frustrated. He said, "I'm done with this," and he jumped right out of the boat, took off. He walked about 100 yards away from the boat and finally got one on foot, standing right in the middle of the river. It was pretty entertaining to watch.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. Well, because I'm the guy behind everybody with the camera, so here everybody's getting ready to make a move or something, and John's still standing out in the middle of nowhere. All of a sudden, he just shoots one and turns around, and I'm the only guy looking. It was pretty good. But what we brought you in here for was to talk a little bit about down in Castle Rock, because I know that's a pretty popular area to shoot carp.
Yeah. We have a few buddies that live down in that area, and they had connections to some people that they knew that had some flat bottom boats with deck and lights, and they invited us to come out there and film a carp shooting show. So we went down there here last Monday, and it's been a while since I've been out carp shooting at night, but we went out and we had a pretty good night. We ended up shooting 25 carp. Had our fair share of misses too. We had a buddy of mine. It was his first time carp shooting, so we made sure he got plenty of reps in right away. And he had a hard time getting the aiming down on it because you have to aim a little different, shooting into the water. And a lot of the fish we were shooting at were at a little deeper depth. They weren't right on top. Like, it's nice to have them sometimes, but once he got it down, it was smooth sailing. It seemed like the rest of the day we were all shooting pretty good by then. But
it always seems hard to get that first one.
Yeah, that's true.
I know my dad joined us too this last week, and he hasn't shot a bow at a fish in a long time, but he shoots a bow every single day in his shop, and he I think went 0 for 4 or 5, but then you get on him and
you get the knack down again. But it's definitely a different type of shooting compared to indoor target.
You mentioned that these fish are a little deeper. Obviously, the river where we were is only 2 or 3 feet deep because that's where they're laying their eggs right now. What was the conditions like down in Castle Rock there?
They were, well, according to the guy that we went with, he said the water level in the last week or so came down quite a bit. Some of the spots that he was generally shooting them in the past couple of weeks, the fish really weren't there, or they moved into a little bit deeper water. So it was a little bit of a chore for us to find fish, and the fish that we did find were sitting right on bottom, and shooting them in the weeds and stuff like that. It can be tricky trying to pick them out, and we were getting right up close to fish, but they're holding tight. But just spotting them kind of was a bear at some times. But yeah, I mean, we did find them though, and we had fish on top. We had a couple couple schools we ran into that were actually feeding on top, but for the most part, a lot of them were sitting right on bottom water.
Awesome. Yeah, it sounds like you guys had a good little day there, or night, I should
And,
say.
and I'm sure you had the same conditions up here too. With the rain we've been having a lot this summer, the water was fairly murky too, which
Oh, yeah. Plus, then they're rolling around
Yeah.
in there and laying their eggs
yeah,
in that. And,
makes it pretty difficult at times to see
yeah.
them.
Yeah, especially with, the sun was shining and you get a little bit of glare in that. And I don't know, a couple of spots we were only 2 or 3 feet deep, like you said, but once that water got turned up, you'd see their little swirls on the top, but you wouldn't even see the fish
Yeah,
at that point.
yeah.
And they'd be right under the boat and finally get on them, and then it's can't see them anyway.
Yeah.
But that's why John jumped in.
Yep.
Got it the old-fashioned way.
Oh, yeah.
But sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Excellent. Well, we got about 2 minutes left here in the show, and what I wanted to bring up is I saw your awesome new website online.
Yeah.
And that's something that I know you guys are pretty proud of and put a lot of hard work into getting some good photographs on there. And
Yeah, we've been
some
putting a lot of
video in the
work the
future.
last few months into the website and the whole production side of things as well. But yeah, our site went live here about a month ago, and we've been updating it, and we have a couple of short films on there that people can check out. Just stuff kind of from our old footage, and looking forward to bringing a few new short films here this summer, hopefully, and then into fall. But we also have an in-action page, which is kind of like a blog that our viewers can follow and look at, I guess, what we're currently doing at this time. Right now we're doing a lot of stuff with trail cameras and food plots and all sorts of stuff like that. So.
And actually, that's where I saw the picture of you guys fishing.
Yep. Okay.
And the description in that, and that's why I
Yep.
wanted to bring that up. That one of our other kind of reoccurring guests, he's the writer for CentralWisconsinSports.net, Scott Stankowski, and him too. He likes to come in and we talk about his articles and that, and it's awesome to have some local stuff easy for people to find, and I mean, and you guys do a really great job with it. It's not I don't know, it's good production quality, and the site's pretty entertaining.
Thanks. Yeah.
I think you can even find me on there on that in-action page.
Yep, you're in there too.
Somehow. Yeah. Excellent. And then you guys got a couple of new sponsors here, which is always exciting coming up in the fall. And do you got any exciting trips planned now between carp and fall, or are you guys just gearing up for deer?
We're pretty much getting ready for deer here. I got 3 hunts I'm going on this fall, well, including Wisconsin, I guess, but heading out to North Dakota and South Dakota. North Dakota on whitetail hunt. We started going out there in the last few years, and then South Dakota we're going out for mule deer.
Awesome. Should make for some excellent footage.
Yep.
Cool. Well, that pretty much wraps up the show this week. Thanks again for joining me, Mike, and now I kind of look forward to having you back on and talk about some out-of-state deer hunting sometime.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Seth.
Cool. Oh, and for all you listeners, that's thebreakingpointtv.com for anybody who wants to check them out.
Yep.
Thanks for listening to Outdoor Plus Radio right here on SportsFan 100.5. Special thanks to Bucks and Bulls Archery in Stevens Point for presenting the newest outdoor radio show to hit Wisconsin. Tune back in every Saturday at 7 a.m. for a full hour of Outdoor Plus Radio. See you next week, and thanks for listening.